Howdy folks, here you got a 2006 Roadliner. Beautiful bike. Has a big old engine, lived 1900. It has the blinker light thing messed up, so my friend got to fix it. But basically he wants me to go ahead and do an oil change on this Roadliner. And being that this bike has 3 drain plugs, it's a little bit complicated for him. But let me show you what the drain plugs are all at. The first drain plug sits right under here. If you take the seat off, here's your refill. Make sure you have this open so I can have some air when it goes on. So the first drain plug you want to drain is actually this canister here. This canister right here that goes right straight under here, and it sits right next to the shock. Here goes the shock, you can see there. But if you look at, you can see that little silver bolt. That bolt's the drain plug. You want to do that one first. Drain all the oil, then come back. Well, you can probably see a little bit better here with this mirror. There's a drain plug right next to the shock, the rear shock. Then you come over here to the left side of the bike. This is actually on the right side. You drain that one first. Then right here, right where this is all at, you follow it up. And then you see the second plug right here. Open that up. Then you drain that out. That's the second one you want to do. Then you scoot over here, and you can see the third one right here. This one's basically almost lined up with the kickstand. So if I follow this back, you see what the kickstand's at. I think that's the third one. You drain. After you pull all that, pull the oil out, then you come to where the oil filter's at. And what I like about this, the Yamaha did, put the oil filter out here. It's a regular KN 303 or the 204, one of the two you want. Grab that, pull it off, drain it out, and that's basically it. Let's go ahead and start with drain number 1. It's over here. You're going to require actually 17 millimeter. You can get a long socket or the shorter one, but I prefer using this one, the swivel, for the fact that that bolt that I showed you under there is angled. It's an angled bolt that is more better to do with that swivel. So let's go ahead and start doing the oil change. As you can see, we're letting that one drain out first, the number 1, completely. As you can tell, this hasn't been changed in a long time. It's pretty much black and gooey. You always want to change this oil pretty much a lot, but it's going to end up being like that. Now this is the second drain plug. Letting it drain in. Wait till it completely drips out. As you can see, it's not really hasn't been changed in quite some time. Now let's go to the third drain plug. Now we're on our last drain plug to let the oil all drain out. You can still see, you can do the second and the third almost the same time. Now next, put on the filter. Now you go ahead and take the oil filter off. Let that drill drain all up completely. Now once it's all drained up, you go ahead and take the plastic off the cover, put some oil around the oil ring, just barely dripping, and just go ahead and put this back on, the new one. I usually hand tight these in. Being this is an awkward area, you just use a wrench to tighten it up a little bit. Just can't get my whole hand around it. And that's basically it. Wipe that dot so it'll be all clean. That's the oil filter. That completes the oil change. Well, now that you change the oil, drain the oil for all three plugs and change the oil filter. Basically, you're gonna come down here and get a funnel and put at least three quarts out of the 4 quarts you have in there into the tank. And then you want to turn on the bike, leave it on for about 20-30 seconds, let the oil go in, go through the filter system and everything else. And then put the remaining 2.2 of oil, 2 quarts and a quarter of quarts back into the tab. Shows where you're basically at. You want to basically be in between that line and that line. There's the low line and there's the high line. You don't want to pass that right there. Again, right here, didn't see it. That's the low line and that's the high line. So you want to stay in between here and don't pass it all the way up here. That'll be too much. But let's go ahead and put some oil into it and then continue on. Now make sure you put the cap back on before you start the motor. And then you'll have oil splashes sometimes. And then just start it back up for about 10 seconds. That should be it. Then you open it back up and you add more oil till you get to the filling station. Now that you warmed up the engine for about 10 minutes, you ran it, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, you ran it on there. Go ahead and put the remaining balance of the oil, remaining 2.25 of oil in there. Then once the engine runs, you gotta make sure you wait for about 10 minutes till the level of the oil comes up, because it's circulating through the engine. But this is the way it should be looking. If you're looking at it, you see oil halfway through it. So that tells you you're a good measurement on there. You want to cover back up. And when you do start your engine, make sure you do put the lid back on. You can check down here in the bottom. No oil leaks, nowhere. So all the plugs are in. Now the orange lift right here on this bike, and mostly all the Roadliner, straight liners, and the Raiders are low. So how to use to lift it up on there. Lift up the back end so I can get the 2 screws for this 2 sides right here. So you may have to lift up the back tire, put some wood under it, 2x4s, 2x6, lift it up a little bit to get to the 2 screws right there. But other than that, that's basically it for this Roadliner. Now, just a reminder, this same procedure you do on the straight liner, the Roadliner, that this is it, and the new the Raider. They have mostly the same engine, same configuration and everything. But that's it for this oil change on this bike. You go ahead, if you like it, go ahead and subscribe to it. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free to subscribe. That just gives you any updates I do. It notifies you that I have a new video up. Give it a thumbs up and share with your friends that you know that needs help on the oil change. Well, to then, see you to the next movie. Bye.